States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
I called them on that. I got them in time, so they punched it, but they didn't put it in where I told them to. So I thought, oh well, so I let it go. And then they punched it around the house and had it train stand where I go up my front porch and put hers when I go, so I made them hurry and move it. Okay, had a chance to read over the minutes. You see any additions or corrections? Do I hear a motion that the minutes be approved?
Motion to approve minutes.
Do I hear a second?
That's enough. We'll move on.
Hadn't read them yet. Okay.
Well, except for, I wasn't at that meeting.
Okay.
I was absent.
That's right. And so was Mr. Benz, right?
No, I'm present. I made it.
That's right. I wasn't at that
That's right.
meeting. Okay.
I haven't missed anything yet, except today.
So I don't know how I went aye for,
So we'll have to
Put Jody's name off
take
there.
Jody's name off of
Jody wasn't present.
these 3 votes, and the attendance.
You got vetoed, Joe.
Corrections. We just voted for you. If you weren't here, we vote for
you
you.
voted for me, all right.
Do you have any corrections or anything on there, Ben? I'll second the motion after reading the minutes, other than Jody. The corrections, Jody's name. Yeah. All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
All right, Andy, if you'd like to give your report this evening.
All right, underwater, the plant's treated 559,390 gallons since October 13th. Our average daily usage is 39,956. Filters were backworked on the 16th and 27th. We replaced 1 meter setting, repaired 2 water main leaks. Endeavor would like to leave the duct that's next to our water main on Central Street between Main and Kaufman. The issue is the 10-inch gas main that's west of us, and they're located between those 2 lines. The duct gets close to us for about 25 feet, where we go around a manhole there. I don't know, I've talked to Matt about it. We located both lines. We located their line, we located our line. The risk involved with that run right there, I don't know that it's worth it. There's an attached email there for you guys to look at. Basically, Endeavor will make every attempt to get here within the guidelines of the law. Emergency notification is 2 hours under state statute. And if we had to cut the line, I will also talk with them about that. It's a service line, it's not a main line. So to them, that wouldn't be as big of a deal. It's really just going to service one house. The main line's on the east side of Central for that jump. I think we should leave it alone myself. After spending some time over there with them, looking at that. It's just that manhole, there's manhole that's kind of midpoint there in the block that favors the north a little bit. I don't know why when they did that, because the water main's in the street, and I don't know, they need to get around that manhole. I don't know if there was some other unknown obstruction in Central at the time of construction, but they swung that water main to the west instead of going around that manhole to the east. So I got it marked over there. It comes back, but you can see, it comes like this, it gets right on the side of that manhole there. But that's where we get real close to each other there with that 3/4 inch service line. Basically goes down to Jim Brooks' house. Pick that house up. I would leave it. I mean, I would just let it go. Not, you know, mess with it at this point, but it's up to you. Like I said, I don't know if we, you know, put an addendum on our agreement with them about this or something. But since it is a service line, like I said, it had to be cut. It could be cut. It's small enough, and the wiring is small enough too. If we had a problem, we'd probably just yank it out of the way. Because I mean, the line that's in it is, it's small. It's like a cable TV. It's like the size of a cable TV wire, basically. You know. But if you go over and look, you know, there's not even 5 feet between us and that gas main there. They're worried about making another shot, trying to get farther over, being by that gas main, you know. That's 10 inch high pressure line that runs down.
Is there any language that we could add to where we wouldn't be held liable for damage to that line if we were to tear it out, or anything that we could add to our
Well, I think it'd have
agreement
to
or
be outside that
something?
2-hour window. I mean, by law, we have to give them 2 hours.
I'm saying with that, after
Yeah.
the 2-hour window, we started digging or whatever, we damaged that, being that we're permitting them to leave it.
Right. Well, that's what I told them, and
I'd
that's,
like to have some language where they wouldn't hold us financially
Well, that's
responsible
what
for
they're-
damage to it because we're allowing them to leave it up against our lines.
that's what they're
It's
agreeing to.
an
That's
issue.
why I was saying I wanted you guys to think about it, look at it, because they're going to make an addendum to that contract.
Yeah, if we can get some language in there, I don't have an issue with it at all, as long as we're not gonna be held accountable for damage, because, you know, when you're digging, you know, as well as I do, you're digging in the mud and the slop and the water leak, you can't see very well, and
Yeah.
we rip it out because we're allowing them to leave it that close to us. I don't wanna have to pay for it if they're, being that we're doing them a favor.
And after
basically.
after talking to them, I don't think, like I said, they're gonna have any issue with that, like, because, I mean, it is just a service line, you know, so. And under wastewater, been performing daily checks to the lift stations, the ponds, and the SSO during rain events. Our sewer plant's closed and we're not discharging. The weekly samples are complete. September wastewater report is complete. It's been sent by them. MK Betts is nearing completion. The brick's been delivered. I don't know, you know, maybe, they probably got maybe two more weeks out there. That's, pretty close. Yeah, they're getting pretty close. Fluid waste has 1 line to complete, and then the manhole out on State Road 19. I'm not sure when they're doing that last run. I know they ordered the material for it. That was the one that we were kind of back and forth with them on. It's that last run between Walton and Kaufman, in the alley between Indiana and Broadway. We had the $3,000 discrepancy. They finally
Agreed to take care of it.
agreed to eat it. Yeah.
Okay.
Good, good.
And then we had our wastewater inspection. The only negative remark was our E. coli exceedances, and really nothing we can do about that. It's going to be resolved when the project's complete. Our chlorination system is complete. Now we repaired 1 sewer line. And we'll be ordering our road salt soon. Our allotment's 60 tons this year. The 2500 has been serviced, and then we've had just so people know, we've had several inquiries about the phone company project, and just want to let everyone know that all the streets and all the alley repairs are going to be made before they leave. Until they, especially on the alleys, I mean, until, there's just no reason, you know, I had an individual that thinks every time they drive down the alley, we should restone the whole alley. And I'm just like, look.
Well, tell them not to fly down it and kick the stones
I said
into
they're
people's
not, you know, I said,
yards.
these things aren't, you know, and I said, when they gotta dig 50 holes to hook up every house, we're not gonna restone the alley every time they dig 1 hole.
Well, it is kind of cool how they
So-
use that.
It'll be, you know, they're gonna be corrected. And then I'm gonna be getting the bids for the repairs at the fire station, so that the work can be completed this year. Those repairs been kind of lagging from the tornado. Under building, we had 2 zoning inquiries, 2 building permit inquiries, issued 1 building permit, issued 1 demolition permit. And then I've got the forms, Aaron emailed them to me. I'm gonna be working on condemning the property at 315 South Road. We should be able to, that's up there, I mean, we should be able to have that done before the end of the year. We got a 30-day waiting period to give them time to remonstrate, and then we'll have to have a hearing here, and we can schedule that for a regular board meeting.
Under the wastewater, do we have an estimated completion time on when we'll be online?
Well, April
Reading.
1st is when we have to. I mean, E. coli season ends this
Yeah, so we're,
ends Sunday.
okay.
Yeah, so it's over. Now we're not discharging. So, but then, yeah, we'll probably really fire ours up in March to test it. I was talking with Tom about that. I don't know if there's any point in testing it right now. I mean, we're out of season. If we do it in March, we can bring the system up, bring it online, and get everything working right before E. coli season's even here. Really, I mean, it's pretty basic. It's similar to the water plant. I mean, we're going to be injecting that chlorine. We're going to have to test it. We use the same chlorometer we use for the water.
Okay.
You know, and Tom's got a set of calculations on parts per million on the flow for the chlorine. So we'll have to test our chlorine coming in to know how high our level is. And, you know, we'll have to test it at the V-notch to make sure that it's below. That's the thing, we haven't even got our contaminant levels from the state yet. I don't think they're gonna give them to us until we're ready, yeah. I mean,
I was gonna.
And they're gonna have to modify that permit.
huh?
They'll have to modify our permit.
Yeah, they're going to.
Discharge permit with our limits and
Yeah. 'Cause
add that to it since we don't.
when we renewed it, you know, it still has nothing about chlorination, dechlorination, so I figure they just, when they came out and did our sanitary survey, they were talking about that, and they just sent us an email the other day about our timeline, so I'm sure as soon as we tell them, because, and I gotta read that, because they're saying we got a 1-year monitoring, but I think our agreed order was a 6-month monitoring. And they've kind of kicked this one in there because I don't remember it being in the original letter, and I'm gonna read it again. But now they're saying for us to be in compliance that we can't, for an entire year, we can't bypass.
Really?
Yeah. And see, I don't even think that's in the original agreement. I'm almost positive that it's not, but I'm gonna reread it before I contact them back. But that little gem was added to it the other day. So, I wanna read the original agreed order. I mean, that's really what we're under. They can't change it after the fact. But I'm thinking in March, we'll bring the system online. Now, if we did it, we'd have to winterize it and everything, going into winter here, and it's not required.
Is it chlorine and dechlor equipment, is it flow proportional? It's going, that we did get flow proportional there, okay.
Yeah, we're not even, see, that's designed for us to be able to, that's designed to discharge 500,000 a day. And I rarely, I mean, just never do that. I mean, most of the time I'm discharging between 120 and 150. I try to stay, but when I discharge, I mean, depending on if we were a lot of rain or something like that, it might be more, but I try to discharge it about 3 times what my daily flow is. So I'm getting rid of something even though I got it coming in, you know? Mm-hmm. But it's gonna be, I mean, it'll handle more than we're actually gonna do, so hopefully there won't be any.
Well, this is probably premature, but when you chlorinate the system, is that done in such a way where you get your total contaminants and know how bad it is, then you chlorinate it, or is it something you do on a daily basis?
No, just when discharging, I mean, we're gonna do it for strictly for E. coli. I mean, that's all that's all we're killing here.
So I mean, you don't chlorinate that every day. You just
when we're discharging, we will.
Okay.
Anytime we're discharging, we'll be chlorinating that.
Okay.
It's gonna be, I mean, it's the water in the effluent channel. I mean, the water comes out of the outfall structure in the pond, goes to a manhole before it goes to the effluent channel. That is where the chlorine is actually being injected into our system. Is at that manhole, goes through a pipe, goes into the new effluent channel. You know, it's got all the walls around. It's something that's new. Our outfall out of the tank into the weir where we measure our water, we put a stainless steel scupper on there. So it's in that scupper that the SO2 is going to be injected for the chlorine. Because that contact time on that is very short.
Well, that's what I was getting at, is, you know.
And then it'll be tested at that V-notch weir. And then it goes through a pipe and into the creek. So, yeah. Yeah, just when we're discharging, I mean, if we're not discharging in chlorination season, you know, none of it will be running.
Yeah.
So.
Thank you, Andy. And we'll move on to code enforcement. Murray?
You have my report there. And not had as many issues this year to correct as it did last year, and I also haven't gotten to some of the ones I should, but I have written 20 notices, given 7 tickets, and sold 4 golf cart permits. Next week, I'm going to deal with the ongoing pig issue. I haven't made it over there yet, but that will be dealt with next week.
She still has it?
Yep.
And then probably the week following, I'm going to go ahead and do my annual chicken inspections. I've never done yours, and I need to do theirs and renew those permits. But other than that, just things as I see them. I've been trying to deal with a habitual loose dog, and I thought I had it dealt with, and it looks like I may have to even readdress that one. So, but other than that, I think we're doing decent on everything so far. So, yeah.
How many dogs do you have to have a kennel permit?
10, I think.
We're not under the county ordinance. I don't even think our ordinance even covers that anymore.
I don't think it does
It
either.
doesn't.
I've never seen anything about it.
My neighbors now have 3.
Oh,
It ain't-
it's definitely not.
It's definitely not 3. But I don't even think, we're not governed by the county anymore. I don't even think that one, I don't remember.
You know if there's a state statute on that or not? Call Tom, he can handle it.
He's retired.
He retired?
Yeah.
He retired Festival Friday.
Yep.
Really?
We heard him sign off.
Oh, why didn't somebody tell me?
He's done.
You wouldn't have fireworks, right?
It says, Hamilton County Animal Control Officers shall not be enforced within the municipal boundaries of the town of Atlanta. So, anything that they,
Yeah,
we
no,
don't,
there's not,
we don't have,
there's not
we have a
one-
limitation on what kind of animals you can keep, but not the amount, as long as they, you know, there's no
Care for
barking
it.
dog, it's within their property, no defecation on anybody else's property or private property, they obey
And
the
they
leash
clean
law.
up after.
There's not much you can do about it.
It used to be 4.
Yeah.
I don't think that was a county ordinance.
Must have been county, you know, that's been changed.
No, they changed it.
Yeah, it must have been changed at some point, it's, yeah, have to be a long time ago, cause there's on recent things, they'll put a notation in here as to when it was changed, and there's no notation, so it's been a long time this way.
But when did that, it's been what, 5 or 6 years ago, they went out of the Hamilton County thing?
More than that, like
It'd have to be
8,
more than
10 years
Did
ago.
they again?
It's been about 8.
Longer than that. It's when you were on the board with it. It's been almost 12 years ago. When you and I were.
Yeah, it was when the first line
Yeah.
on the board, so it's been 12 years ago.
Yeah.
We voted on that. That's when they wanted us to adopt the county ordinances, and they're real strict, and they are, basically we lose all control of any type of animal issues at all. It all went straight out of the county. An animal control officer for Hamilton County. Anything else on code enforcement? Okay, Robin, do you have anything tonight?
Can we schedule a budget workshop?
Yes.
Let's go about at least 3 weeks out, but I wanna have it on the calendar, so that'll pressure me to get it together too, so we can.
Let's see.
I like during the day, but you don't have to during the day. Actually, if we go 3 weeks. How about either the week of the 9th or the 16th? If we go towards the end of either of those weeks.
I'd prefer the week of the 9th. I've got a meeting on the 16th and a meeting on the 18th of the following week. And then we'll have a board meeting on the 9th that week too, so.
We'll have a council meeting on the 10th.
Yeah, the 10th.
So,
Veterans
I mean, I
Day
can,
is the 11th.
Is it?
Yeah.
I can do evening, so, I mean, if you wanted to do, I don't know, Friday evening. Or Thursday or Friday during the day.
I can't do the 19th during the day. I could probably do the 12th during the day. And any evenings open.
Would you prefer evening, Fred?
I would personally, but I understand.
Well, and then Johnny has to take time off too, so.
I don't mind that.
What evening is best for you?
Thursdays are good.
Okay. What time-ish?
6.
On the 12th or the 19th?
Johnny said he's gonna meet on like.
Oh,
I
okay.
got a meeting 18th.
So we're gonna do it November 12th?
Yeah. Number 12. 6 o'clock. Now, will this be classified as a workshop meeting? So it'll be,
It'll be an administrative meeting, it won't be advertised, but if people show up, we can't tell them they can't. 6 p.m. Oh. See, I would do
Could
that.
you send out an email and remind us of that?
Yeah. And, that's all I have.
Okay. Move on to old business. Any old business this evening?
Where do we stand with the getting rid of the old police cars?
I just put new batteries in them, they were under warranty, Bert and I just got them cleaned up, ready to go. Murray's gonna put them on eBay.
Yep, that'll happen next week as well. So I'm just gonna take pictures of them, put them up there, see what happens.
Cool.
Good deal. I have a question for Melissa on old business. The
Okay.
Kane property that the town pursued,
Yes.
I think it was about a year ago.
Which means it was time for us to file our petition after October 4th, which we did. So it is with the judge. He'll probably hold on to it for a little while to see if anybody objects to the petition. I highly doubt anybody will. I talked to the daughter of Mr. Kane, and she said her siblings do not want the property, but they did ask to come back into it. And I think Andy said, no way.
There's
So-
no way. Aaron called me about that, and here's the only reason I'm saying, I mean, if you guys wanna choose to have them sign a waiver, that roof's been leaking, the floors are collapsing inside that house.
I think it was more a sentimental request than anything, so
yeah.
they didn't respond back to me after I told them
I
no.
just,
So there's not anything in there
They already
that they
took that
personally
stuff-
want?
they took
I
that
don't
stuff
think
out.
so.
I wouldn't think there's anything in there
Well,
that they've got them.
well, I'll tell you, it was so bad when they went in there, when Jamie was back and they went in there, they put Tyvek suits on and wore respirators to go in that house.
Good Lord.
And, I mean, you can look through the window, I mean, the floors are caving in.
Yeah.
And that's what I told Darren, I said, town board wants to let them do it, you better have some kind of liability waiver signed, because if they go in there and get hurt, it's gonna be on us, cause we'll own it.
So as far as we can tell, no bank, no mortgage holder, lien holder has responded to any of our notices, and we've published all notices, and we should be good to go after the judge decides to look at our petition. So
Very good.
yep.
The power's disconnected, veteran or retired to gas service on it,
Okay.
so
All right.
the sewer will be the only thing.
Okay.
Capital.
Thank you. Well, we'll move on to new business tonight. Robin, do you want to talk about the ordinance, or you want me to do that?
All it is when the usually park the cars, the festival, Rick Pfeiffer gave me all of the money to receipt in, so I set up a separate fund, like the non-reverting fund, like the festival, so that means it doesn't go back into the general fund at the end of the year, it builds up. And Aaron helped me put together the ordinance just to establish that. So, I mean, I suppose you could read the whole thing if you wanted. Or not. We don't, do we have to read it, Melissa?
By title only.
You may want. It's not that long, I think, for the
want me to
audience
read
sake. You'd read it
If you'd like, go ahead.
once.
It's ordinance number 10/2015-01, an ordinance for the town of Atlanta which establishes a non-reverting operating fund for the Atlanta ball fields. Whereas the town of Atlanta has accepted title and ownership for the baseball fields and other facilities located at 795 South Central Street in Atlanta, Indiana, hereinafter the Atlanta ball fields, and whereas the town of Atlanta is responsible for maintenance, upkeep, insurance, equipment, operation, and all other aspects of the Atlanta ball fields, and whereas the Atlanta Town Council has determined that a non-reverting fund is needed for the collection of donations, fees, and fundraisers to operate, maintain, and meet the town's obligations regarding the Atlanta ball fields, and whereas the Atlanta Town Council has the authority to establish such a non-reverting fund for such purposes, now therefore be it ordained by the Town Council of the town of Atlanta, Indiana, as follows. Section 1, purpose. The purpose of this ordinance is to establish a non-reverting operating fund for the Atlanta ball fields to be used for the purposes hereinafter established. Section 2, fund. There is hereby established an Atlanta ball fields non-reverting fund for operations, maintenance, and improvements. Section 3, fees. Donations, league fees, dues, and fundraising revenues shall be deposited into the non-reverting fund established herein. Section 4, use of funds. Expenditures can be made from this fund by the Atlanta Town Council without appropriation for ball field operations, maintenance, and improvements. The monies of this fund shall be dispersed only upon claims approved by the Atlanta Town Council. Effective date, this ordinance shall be effective upon its adoption.
Thank you, Robin. Do I hear a motion that we adopt this ordinance as read?
Make a motion that we adopt the ordinance number 10-215-01.
I'll second it.
All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
This is the one to sign. And if anybody's interested, the amount that they raised from the parking, because they only did it the one day, was
You know, let's see.
$2,159.28. But you know what, I see that we have a expenditure out of there of $15.72, and I'm gonna have to look at that, because I bet that was somebody plugged in an appropriation number wrong, because there hasn't been anything spent out of that fund. So really, it should be $2,175.
$21.75.
Yeah, I'm gonna look on these claims and
I
see
think
what.
that's great that
Great.
they worked that hard to get that.
Yes.
One day,
In one day.
It was like half a
Well,
day.
yeah, it was really a half a day, because it kinda got,
People that were supposed to do it didn't show up.
I think fire department did like 10 grand last year, so there's definitely room for them to make a lot more in the future up there. Hopefully there's volunteers that'll help.
That is great.
But it is great, it's a great start for sure. Helps a lot.
Well, you have a copy for the day. Okay.
Paper, please.
We all are at
All right, any other new business this evening? Linda?
Do we have any kind of I know that all the bills probably aren't in for the Earth Festival, but do we have?
We do. Actually, we have that in our festival meeting. Here's copies, if anybody has one of the festival report.
Have a copy? Come up. Feel free to have one.
Have enough for me to have one too?
Sure,
Sure.
absolutely.
There's still not more out there. I'm not too big.
Give you a chance to look those over. See if you have any questions.
Jennifer and I do appreciate the council letting us
got one
kind of
more.
having free reign over the festival. We appreciate that. And
You got one more?
sorry. Oh, I'm sorry. I thought I gave her enough. Hey.
You got enough?
Yeah.
And I appreciate Andy and Murray and their entertaining our every whim.
Well, I appreciate, and I didn't know until the day of the festival that Mark Airbrandt sponsored our block down there, and we really appreciate that.
Yeah, we let him know very much. Yeah, he's.
Well, Mended Hearts sent him a thank you.
That's great. That's great. That whole sponsor area, that $18,720 that's on that, it's 22, it's the including area. That was money that Jennifer Farley raised, sitting over there on that phone with no marketing degree. So I appreciate that so much, and I think that that's a big deal.
Well, we got a lot of comments that we were Mended Hearts and we were sitting beside the apple dumpling place.
Apples are healthy.
Yeah.
I've got something.
But we appreciate it, and for you guys letting us know about that.
Thank you, Linda. We were glad to have you guys there. We think it worked out a lot better up on Main Street than it did down there.
Yeah.
Toby?
I don't mean to bring up a can of worms or nothing, but I remember, back when I relieved Abe, when he was the president and took ill, we had a policy handbook in front of us. I don't remember now, it's been a long time, but it was when Jody was the president, and I think we had tabled it.
That's funny you mentioned that, because I talked to Mr. Kuiper about that today. And he's gonna get copies of Arcadia's that are.
Well, I've already got one.
I did.
Unless this
yeah,
one isn't
yeah.
up to date.
Yeah, Arcadia's are
More per
You have-
more tailored to what Atlanta
I
needs.
Is
did
this the one
copy
you're
it.
talking about, John?
Yes, sir.
Oh, good, okay.
He's got, I thought I printed the
So,
copies of that, so,
Yeah, I
but
didn't
I
use
didn't know
that.
where they were at. So there is copies here
Yeah.
somewhere, but there's been some additions to it too, so I'll bring the additions. It's been since we did those, I'll bring the additions. But
What is
yeah,
it,
we
a
were
handbook?
talking about that just today.
Yeah.
What is it, a handbook of?
It's a policy, employee policy handbook.
Well, just
manual.
kind of why I want to do our workshop early too, so we can just like hit the ground running in January with them being in compliance, so. That's not a can
For
of
anybody
worms.
that doesn't have a copy of that, we'll get copies and I'll bring the additions that was added to that. And that way we'll have a current with everything that we have for review.
Thank you for bringing that up, because I forgot that.
Well, it's
I
just
wouldn't-
something that's been, I just want like loose ends, we just need to.
Right.
I wasn't gonna bring it up because I forgot to bring copies with me tonight, so I
Any other questions or comments regarding the festival? Roberta?
This semi, does he park out here all the time?
No.
Is
Just
that
today.
Kosher?
Yeah, I saw
I don't know.
him last
Or-
week sometime too.
There's not, no,
Does he live in
it's on
Madison?
railroad property.
no, he's staying over at Mary Nelson's.
Oh.
Is that railroad property? Port Authority?
Yeah.
And he seems like he's parking awful close to the track.
If they run that train through here, they'll be saying something about it, because I know they don't even like cars parked over along there.
Well, I said something to him and boy, did I. About it.
I do have one other comment.
Okay.
On this side of the street, down in front of Alvarez's, I know they've got a handicapped vehicle, but why do they get to park there all day in that handicapped spot?
It's 2-hour parking.
Something I can address. I'm not around a lot during the day, but I'll keep my eyes open next time I am.
I mean, we have a lot of handicapped people that have to come up here and get their mail, and 90% of the time that spot has their truck in it. And I just don't think that's right.
Don't hit Ed with his truck while you're at it.
Huh?
I said you can hit Ed with his truck while you're at it.
Oh, yeah.
Since it's in 2-hour parking for
I'll
weeks.
tell you, I haven't done it since winter, and that was snow route enforcement. But I've cited everybody, not everybody on Main Street, at least once about their vehicles in last year, and I guess I need to readdress it. But I'll see what I
Do
can do
they
with
have
it.
parking around back?
They do. They do.
Well, let's down the corner.
Yeah. But I just feel bad for the handicapped people that are really handicapped that really need that spot.
It's definitely an issue, or potentially an issue for Delulio's patrons. As far as somebody going to the post office, they'd have to roll across the street or shuffle across the street or something.
Yeah.
So
But
that's not
sometimes
as
that's
much
the
a
only
concern
spot
of mine,
available too.
but that's true as well. That's true. So it being 2-hour parking, I'll try to keep an eye out and address it next time it's clearly over that.
Anything else this evening? All right, do I hear a motion that we sign the claims and adjourn meeting?
Make a motion, sign the claims, adjourn the meeting.
I hear a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Meeting adjourned.